We're back to Neil Haley Show and also celebrity interviews live from the grotto with Greg Hanna. Greg, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing super well, and I'm so excited to talk to our next guest.
Yeah, exactly. Yvette Mattern is our guest. She's an internationally renowned visual artist.
Mhm.
Yvette, thanks for stopping by. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Good. How are you?
Good, good. So let's just jump into this. How did this whole visual art thing start? Because I'm blown away by it and some of
Oh,
the things and just like, wow, it's just, was it something that was out of the box getting involved in this? Because it's,
yeah, it was something that was just it was quite spontaneous in the sense that I saw this incredible rainbow over Walden Pond, an area that I am quite familiar with because I used to live in Cambridge, Mass, and I knew what the significance of that is in terms of Thoreau and the Transcendentalists and the history behind Walden Pond. So and at the time I had been exploring what and how I would define myself as a visual artist. I think at that moment I just decided, okay, I would like to focus specifically on light, and just had this idea to try to create a light work that was on the scale of a real rainbow.
Wow,
Which
that's amazing.
was a daunting, of course, task at the outset.
Well, so obviously I'm a technical guy, so I want to
Right.
I want to hear about the lasers. I want to hear about, how did you
Sure.
get it done? What kind of power did you have to have? And who helps you do that? That's pretty exciting stuff.
Well, ironically, when I finally realized I had that moment where it was like, oh, it's lasers. It was during a light festival in Berlin, Germany, which is my second home or my first home, whichever. And there was one kind of beautiful, just pristine green laser that was going across the sky. And I knew at that moment that was it. And ironically, the person that created that green laser is the person that I've been working with. His name is Michael Solinger. He has a company in Berlin called Solinger Animation, and he's quite the cutting edge. He's always very interested in helping artists, so he's always interested in really pushing the envelope technically and what could be done outside of this kind of commercial entertainment laser industry.
Wow.
right. And how many people do this? Like, you were new in this and the way it was rainbow? Because we know about lasers, but it's totally gigantic and exciting and explosive. Were you the first to try something like this?
Well, apparently, I mean, I'm told from the laser industry that I'm not the first, but I think I mean, in essence of creating, let's say, a rainbow with lasers, I think it was definitely attempted many times through the history of laser technology. But I think in terms of scale and the work itself, it's very original. I think the scale that we're doing it on, the way that I presented, it's I would say it's the first.
Well, we've seen a few pictures, but I can't imagine that they do justice to reality. Like how far and wide in miles or kilometers do these rainbows extend?
Well, so we've clocked it. We literally, for the first couple of years, people were just so astonished in terms of its reach. And when we were in, I think it was in Nantes, France, or I don't know, somewhere in France, we clocked it at 60 kilometers visibility. And if it's not terminated, you can really see it, for it just keeps going, so whoever, but of course it loses a little, after 60 to 100 kilometers it looks a little bit bigger because the beams,
Mm,
dissipate a little bit.
yeah.
But yeah, it is the photos are extremely beautiful, but it's always much more powerful to see it in person.
That's definitely seems like that. And to be able to work with such amazing people to collaborate with, that's got to be amazing too, right? Who you
Absolutely.
work with. So tell our audience some of your major projects you did.
Well, in terms of where we presented it,
Mhm.
we presented it all. Basically, it seems almost in every continent except for Africa at this point, and mainland China. Like we did it in Japan. We've done it in the States, in New York City. We did it in Venice Beach last summer for Pride. We've done it. I did it in Berlin. It's been in France several times. France really loves it. We did it in Argentina. It was a gorgeous presentation. Mexico City. Also, we just got back from the Yucatan and presented it in two places in Merida and Valladolid, which was also very stunning because the level of ambient light, there was no like not much urban light there. So it always makes a big difference. We've always also done it in Northern Ireland, which was very exciting for me. And also London 2012 Olympics, we had several presentations in England.
Wow. Tell me a little bit about, I noticed that one of your first presentations, at least here in the US, was 2009 over Wall Street, over the site of 9/11,
Yes.
the Twin Towers. What was that? What was that like, I guess, doing it then? And, what was the presentation? Was it straight up? Was it just down Wall Street? I mean, how did you do that one?
That was really the first presentation that I ever did, and it was in a way like my first sketch to see if what was possible. I didn't really know much about lasers at the time. I kind of took all my money and just invested it in this presentation. The lasers were not as strong. We did it in two different directions, one over Ground Zero and the other one over the Brooklyn Bridge. And I had a good friend that I've known forever, Peter Norman, Swedish photographer, and he took these gorgeous photos of the presentation. And from there, and because I saw it over Walden Pond, and for me, it resonated on on so many levels globally, because Martin Luther King and Gandhi were all influenced by Henry David Thoreau. So I felt like doing it over Ground Zero on Martin Luther King Day, on the eve of Obama's inauguration. It was quite, it was a quite exciting moment. It was a very exciting time filled with hope and change, and also, this resonance of the tragedy of 9/11. So I tried to kind of pull it all together, and it was very beautiful.
Well,
now, Greg, you have your final question you ask all of our successful people on this show.
Yeah, I do, Yvette. So what's the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Oh, I think let's say patience. I think we all have to have a lot of patience, and just understand that life has its ups and downs, but tomorrow's another day, kind of thing. I'm an eternal optimist, and I think that's why I make work like I do, because I really feel that even though life can be challenging, there can be extremely beautiful moments, and that's why I make the kind of art that I make. And I've learned a lot through that, just in terms of having patience, in terms of knowing that positive things will happen in your life. You just have to be patient.
That's true. You got to be patient in life. That's so true. Where's the best place people can find out information on you? Where can they go?
I have a website. It's under my official name, YvetteMattern.com. And if you can I always tell people, just, search up laser rainbow, because it's the only one that exists. And then they'll come across, a lot of photos and images of the global rainbow. But my website, YvetteMattern.com, will show you everything.
And current projects you have going on that you want to tell people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm developing my own stuff. I came from film, so I studied at Columbia University in screenwriting and directing. So I just finished a screenplay that I'm actually trying to go back a little bit to my original love. But there are a lot of presentations of the rainbow that I'm developing currently. I've been doing it for 14 years, and it just keeps going. And then a couple other like visual art ideas that I'm developing as well. So
fantastic. Well, good luck to you, and that's
Thank
great.
you.
Your work is gorgeous and beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, yeah. Come back on anytime you want to talk about what's new with you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
All right, guys. That was
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. That was Celebrity Interviews live from the Grotto with Greg Kanye. Guys, take care.